I'm Steve Brady, Executive Director at the Covation Center. I'm here with Dave Larson, one of our marketing guru guys. We're here to talk over the next 6 weeks or so about starting a small business. This is the first of a number of series that we're looking to do to help micro businesses engage, grow, and be successful. So if you're looking at starting a small business, well, we want to kind of go through what it takes. You know, when you think about starting a small business, it actually is a big decision. I hope you understand it's a big decision. What are some of the questions that popped into your head? Like, what do I want to know?
Yeah, well, and there's a lot in terms of, figuring out who do I want to target in terms of whatever I'm selling or the service I'm providing. To me, that's the first step in trying to figure out where my business is going to go. It starts with the idea of what do I have, what am I passionate about, what are the skills and or resources that I have, and then moving into where do I go with those skills and resources.
Well, I'm really glad you said it starts with the idea because, we talk about this, we say big decisions require big thinking, and you've got these big questions. What's the idea? You're talking about, who am I going to serve and how am I going to serve and what do they want? So, big decisions require big thinking, and we kind of deal with it this way. We talk about thinking small, thinking deep, and thinking big. When we start talking about this, we're saying, we need to think about that big idea. What is it I want to do? And who am I trying to serve and what value is going to bring? But you have all those little details, like
Yes.
Exactly how do I reach them? How much is it going to cost? Where do I need to put my money? And do I have a store front? Do I do it out of my basement? Do I do it out of my garage like Hewlett Packard and Apple Computing?
Yep. Many famous businesses start out of a garage.
Yeah, so we need to have these conversations. So I appreciate what you said. We start looking at this as we need to go from the idea to an analysis to action. Now, have you ever watched anybody that get tied up in analysis paralysis?
Oh, yes. I mean, as one who suffers from that myself, there is a point and a purpose for extensive research. It's important. Consider factors, consider things you don't know, and read up on those things. But the first step is to take an action and move forward. And without that action to move forward, you're going to be stuck in idea planning for the rest of your non-existent business's life.
Yeah, we've seen two things that happen. As a small business, you might be tempted first off to say, I've got this great idea, let's just go do it. Well, that's kind of risky. And the other one is to be that cautious planner that says, until I know the answer to every question, I don't want to take that next step. So what we're going to ask you to do is work with us, listen to us, and do some of the things we ask you to do and answer some of the questions to help get you to the point where you can feel comfortable taking that somewhat less risky step for starting that business. Now we have the cloud there, we have this bigger cloud in this image, and the reason we have the bigger cloud is there's so much more going on around you, and a lot of what we're going to talk about over the next 6 weeks fills in that cloud. You alluded to, actually explicitly stated, who are my customers?
Sure.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that, and one of the things that Dave's going to share in about 3 weeks after this will be branding, and how do you talk about what you do?
Right, absolutely. And that's what fills in the outside, but it all, as I alluded to, it's centric to the idea. Without that idea, you're going to, as you do research and you navigate analysis paralysis, you're going to be drawn into all sorts of different directions if you don't stay centric to that main idea that should be tied to your passion and your skills and resources.
Yeah, and you keep going back to the idea, and I appreciate that because it all starts with an idea. And we talk here about the fact that it's a big idea, and this is your passion. Maybe you see a need that hasn't been met. The picture we have here, I kind of told you about it. This is a chewing gum statue. And the reason I talk about chewing gum statues is a long time ago I used to joke around about, there's some businesses that are just terrible ideas, like chewing gum statues. You would never sell chewing gum statues. Maybe you love doing them, but people won't buy them. And then I found out people pay $1 million for chewing gum statues. You just have to know your market.
Yes.
Right. So you need to ask yourselves the question, do I have a market? How far am I willing to go for that? All these things are part of that idea. So there really are not necessarily bad ideas. You just need to be very careful in how you implement them. And that's where that action piece has to follow the analysis piece.
Right. In that order, starting with the research. You wouldn't want to go into a chewing gum statue company without having extensive research on knowing, hey, somebody will buy this.
Yeah, there's $1 million out there, but you got to live in New York City.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
And one other thing I talk about often, and we talk about innovation, and the Covation Center has its name in part for collaboration, co-working, and innovation. Innovation or revolution isn't necessary. I mean, an innovation is just new to somebody else. And so you don't need a revolution to be successful, but you need to be thoughtful in your planning and how you go about this.
Yep.
So one of the first things you have to ask is, what do you like? You know, what is it about it you like? Now, I don't know, do you drink diet sodas?
I do, yes.
What do you have a preference?
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew.
For myself, yes.
Mountain Dew Diet or Mountain Dew Zero?
Both.
Both.
Yes. I don't have a preference. I'm an equal opportunity Mountain Dew guy.
Yeah, I'm a zero guy.
Okay.
I mean, if I have a chance to get a diet soda with zero, I do believe marketing has worked.
Sure.
And
Yep.
I do believe it tastes better to have a zero soda. It tastes more like the real thing in my mind. And so when we look at the marketing aspects these companies are doing, we see how we're getting an answer to the question on the back end that they were asking on the front end, which is, what do the customers want?
Yes.
Right? So we have to ask, what do the customers want? Now, on this particular slide, we're talking about, does anyone do something similar? We have here in town, we've been notified that a chain steakhouse is going to be coming to town. Guess what? We have steakhouses already.
Yeah.
You know, we talk brand names. We have Haas's Steakhouse, which is a chain in Pennsylvania here. Texas Roadhouse is coming in. We already have a steakhouse. We have Herdick House, Peter Herdick House, which is high-end steaks, very nice dining.
Yep.
People do something similar. Should you be dissuaded from doing something somebody else is already doing?
No, there are niches to cut out, and changing, market trends and things like that will allow you to see an opportunity that perhaps on the surface may look crowded, but there are frequently situations where you can carve out a niche, and that's what this new chain is trying to do. That's what Coca-Cola did with Zero as opposed to Diet. They're recognizing people that are less interested in doing the diet soda because of the aspartame and things like that, and so they're remarketing, repackaging a similar product.
Yeah, so we're basically, you're saying, you ask yourself, okay, I'm going to do something very similar. What separates me? What differentiates me from that business? And it could simply be, in the case of one steakhouse chain, they will dance about every 30 minutes to a song that plays, or they're just personable, or it's a fine dining establishment. And so that's where you want to go when you get dressed up nice and you want to go out and have a nice dinner. So just because somebody else is doing something like what you're doing doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, but you do have to do the work, do the analysis to say, here's how we're going to be different. And so you got to ask yourself that question, how am I going to be different? Now, we talk here about if no one else is doing it. You really have a couple questions. The first one is, okay, no one else is doing it. Why not?
Yeah.
Maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe there is a bad idea.
Maybe the idea has failed already.
Yeah, maybe somebody tried that, and nobody really wanted bananas dipped in tuna.
Yeah.
But maybe somebody loves banana and tuna sandwiches.
Right. Right.
Would that be you?
No, not in the slightest.
Yeah,
in the slightest. But I think what Steve's talking about here is what's often referred to as a USP, unique selling proposition, and to figure out exactly, can I differentiate my idea and my passion from companies, brands that are already existing in whatever your marketplace is, whether it's local or national, and to figure out and really craft that USP from your idea. And that's what Steve was really talking about.
Yeah, so here we talk about the fact, so you like this. Maybe you do like banana and tuna sandwiches. Yeah, just because you like it doesn't mean anybody else will. You have to do the time, do the effort, do the work to figure out, will other people like it? And if they do, why will they like it, and how do I talk to that? So you need to, we call it clearly define the value proposition, or the value that your customers will see in the product, and it may be different from the value that you see. And so to wrap this first piece up, we really want you to do a little bit of homework. If you're thinking about starting a business, just take time and answer these 3 questions. What is your big idea? Why do you want to do this? And why do your customers want it? And keep in mind, those last 2 questions may very well be different. Before we wrap this up totally, are there any final thoughts on this intro piece on starting a small business that you might have?
Yeah, quick thoughts in terms of, okay, how do I tackle some of the things in terms of, will my future customers want this? There are ways to do that. Search trends and things like that online that you can do research on to indicate whether there is a market or a hunger for that idea. And that's where you can go Google, and there are a host of other companies that will give that search information to you, often for free, to allow you to do some of that research without committing, making significant investments in market research firms and things like that at the outset of your business. So that would be one thing I think to put in the time as you create your idea to move forward to, will this sell? Who will this sell to? That's a way that you can use the tools available to you to do that.
Over the next additional 5 weeks, so this is week 1, over the next 5 weeks, we're going to be talking about a lot of those sorts of things, understanding your customer, understanding what the value is. And by the way, when we talk value, that's kind of a synonym for price. So we're going to talk the value for the customers. Next week, we're going to tackle you, though. We're going to talk about you understanding your vision, your passion, and what you want your goals to be in that business. From there, over the next few weeks, we're going to talk about the customers, we're going to talk about value, we're going to talk about pricing, and we're going to talk a little bit about understanding financials as we get you set for that big rollout where you take that action step, having done the analysis, and you're ready to go. Or, heaven forfend, you understood that you really can't move on that business at this moment because of some of the answers you've heard. And so we want to be here to be that steadying voice as we step through these to prepare you if you can open a business, but help you reach the conclusion that you can or you can't open that business. If you want to follow what we're doing and be part of this 6-week adventure as we go through it, be sure to hit the subscribe button below. Also, hit that like button. Give us that thumbs up. Let us know that you're liking what you're seeing. And oh, by the way, we're here to help you grow your business. So please leave comments in the comment section below about questions you have about your business, or quite frankly, things you want us to talk about as we go through this 6-part series. Or maybe you have an idea for another series that you would like us to tackle. Let us know that in the comment section as well. We look forward to seeing you and having you following us so we can engage more directly on this. Oh, and don't forget to click that little bell. That bell will tell you when our next video is up. Take care.